Welcome to the channel and Medieval Kingdom Wars. Now this is going to be a relatively short video that updates a video I made a couple of months ago called On Campaign, where I did a review of the campaign element of this game. Now that video was already dating, but on the 25th of August 2017, if you're watching this in the future, that video became completely out of date when they update 26 released the ability to recruit armies, and that's what I want to kind of focus on in this video, guys. The new changes and how it affects the campaign, and effectively updating the old video. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on campaign. Now I will say, guys, that if you've been playing prior to the 25th of August on campaign, the save games are not compatible. If you load up, the whole menu system seems to go very strange, so effectively you've got to start a new game. You cannot go forward, but then this game's still in early access and it's to be expected. I mean, they're not guaranteeing that every game can go forward. Now, any of you guys never played the game before, this is how you start a campaign. You get a choice of various kingdoms. They've got different starting positions, varying from like France. Where did they go? France is the standard one. They've got a nice big, I guess, tier 4 city, and they've got a reasonable income. And you can go down to Ireland that starts with a couple of small settlements, but they're tucked away on the corner of the map, so you've got a chance to build up gently over time. So I think it's the Kingdom of Bohemia is a bit more interesting because they're in an area close to the, where are they? Where are they? The Duchy of Burgundy. That's quite another one as well. Emigrate Granada, Holy Roman Empire. There we are. And they can be a little bit bolshy. And what we're going to play, guys, though, is England, and we're going to play on medium. I'm not going to push it, guys, because I need to explain some strategies, so I don't particularly want to get wiped out to begin with. Well, here we are, guys, and you get these messages. Just flip through them. They're basically telling you that the game's in early access. Now, the scenario, if any of you guys are new to the game, is that you're not starting off as the King of England. It's got the campaign here plays slightly a bit like it can in Crusader Kings 2, where you start off as a minor noble, where you've got to build up a power base in this area, which you then use to, whether you can ascend to become king is something that will be seen. Now it's very important that you guys understand that this game is played in real time. It's not turn based. You can pause the game up here while I just do a bit of talking, but if you pause the game, you can look at things, but you cannot move your armies. On the right here you've got an overview map. I don't think we're going to need to look at it. And then another interesting feature of this game is that even though I'm playing in single player mode, you can still chat to people, and quite often, sometimes when you're here, you get the devs will come in and join the conversation, basically looking for feedback. That's a very kind of neat feature. Now, as I say, we're playing as a minor lord in the Kingdom of England. We start with Dover, which is one of the predefined cities that turns up in the tutorial. Now, if any of you guys are wondering what these anchors are for, these mark points on the map where your army can take to the water to sail across And strangely enough, you can pass through settlements belonging to other people. It's up to you whether you can attack. And there are naval battles I've done, but I can't tell you how these guys work, because despite several attempts to try and get a naval battle, I've never been able to. Now, what I'm going to do is move this army out.
Trim and take to their midships, my lady.
Out, and this demonstrates the new feature now that came out with update 26. We now have recruitable armies. Now, what you get is 2 workers. Now, these workers seem inconsequential, but they are very, very important. You get a couple of chickens, which is a kind of way of guaranteeing you food supply, and then you get an army here. Now, you can recruit army here. The whole lot seems to be unlocked. And what I'm going to do is just grab a Knights Templar. I've got enough money for it, just for a bit of fun, guys. But I mean, you can obviously get siege equipment and build the army up. Now, you can build an army up to, I think it's 30. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But bearing in mind, 4 of the slots are going to be taken up by workers. I think you can delete them, but I'm not going to do that just at the moment.
Carrick ready to set sail.
And what we're actually going to do is I'm going to start with a battle, guys.
Carrick standing ready.
It's going to be quite a simple battle. To declare war, you actually just click on the thing, and it gives you Maidstone 26. You can auto-resolve it, but I'm not going to auto-resolve it. I'm actually going to fight it. It should be a quick battle because Maidstone is a smaller settlement than us. The level system's there, but you also got to remember, so you can build your armies up now, guys. Again, guys, if you're not familiar with the game, the way I don't know how you'd call it. This is a field battle, but it's not a field battle in true sense of the word. I think I'm going in the right direction. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to tell.
Bowman, move it.
Now, what you need to do is get your serfs building here. But the other thing I also want to try out, guys, is you can hear.
My lord, some of thy workers need to be given jobs.
Okay.
Get hammering, lads.
Alright, idle. And what I want to do is build a tent.
Square
And 6, because if you look in the bottom right here, guys, you will see that that's the size of my army and that's the capacity.
Awaiting your
Right,
orders.
Maceman. And what we're going to do is we're going to rush, basically bum rush the enemy. We should have some monks down
Dost
here.
thou seek counsel?
Yes, we got some monks as well.
Humbly I go.
The building has been finished,
Now,
my lord.
If you guys are not familiar with the games, what you have effectively here is a siege camp. That's actually gone up 9. That's actually what I was trying to find out, guys, because they said that they'd increased it by 50%. Because what you actually do now? Just get
Ready
this guy,
to get dirty.
get this guy chopping wood.
Get chopping on those trees.
What we're going to do is we're going to keep moving these guys forward.
Bowman, stand ready. Bowman, stand ready.
And where's my monks? Yeah, I wanted to test that, guys, because obviously you can't recruit any more troops until such time. But as I say, we're going to go for the little bit of a bum rush.
I serve the Lord on high. We await our orders.
Going to get our bowmen over here.
We await our orders.
Seems to be a little bit of a limit.
Get to it, boys. Awaiting your orders. Swing 'em, boys.
Okay,
Notch your arrows, men. Release your arrows, lads.
that Maceman in.
Swing 'em, boys. Bowman, stand ready.
Hey, let's get our troops in.
Bowman, stand ready.
Of course, I want to get my.
Await our orders. Notch your arrows, men.
Where's all my Macemen? Very easy to lose people on this battlefield.
Bowman, stand ready. We await our orders. Swing 'em, boys.
Where's my Knights Templar? Come on.
Awaiting your orders.
Right, in.
Swing 'em, boys.
Yeah, it can be a little bit annoying sometimes, guys, is keeping track of the troops on your battlefield.
We await our orders. Launch your arrows, men.
Okay. I think that's it.
Is trouble
We
brewing?
conquered it. Oh, there's my Templars. Can't find my monk unit. Where are they? They should be able to heal. There they are.
Dost thou seek counsel? My vows
Okay, we're now taking the settlement here, but what you can see here, we're gaining resources. Now, the resources that you harvest are actually carried forward into your next battle, guys. So, again, building up a nice little reserve of troops here is going to be very, very useful. And of course, if we were fighting a longer battle where we had to build a siege camp, it would be okay, but at the moment I'm quite happy just to let these guys trundle through, collect the wood, and of course we're going to come back to here and we can see we're taking the settlement. The way this works is it counts down to 0 and then counts back up again. So effectively you've got to hold the center, but once you've killed the troops round this center, they can't really do anything.
to me, my
and if I
child.
bring this monks in the center, there we are. Attackers have conquered the city. There we are. So we've now captured Maidstone, and that is a relatively simple, straightforward battle, guys, which is the reason I wanted to fight it. Now, what I will say, guys, is if you do the auto-resolve can be a little bit icky and may not be that trustworthy. Where's my army gone? There it is.
Your careened Carrick
My army
standing
never
ready.
actually left,
Hoist the square rigging.
and obviously I want this army to come over
Any damned fool can
and
navigate the
defend
world
this
sober.
settlement.
Just try to do it drunk, my laird.
Now, before I do the next thing related to armies, what I want to do is show you guys here. So we've conquered this settlement here. We've already got a predefined army. We can upgrade the city. Now they've reworked the UI for update 26, and we now can see this is our tax rate. So if we collect the taxes, we get 800. This is the strength of our defending army. Maidstone is a level 2. Now I'm going to enter the city, because just to get, or town, hamlet, whatever you want to call it, because obviously we want to start building up this area. This is going to be a very, very quick visit just to show you guys the army and how things go. Now, this is a very low level city. You can see it's got no defenses. It says welcome to the city view mode, allows you to build up the city before it's attacked. Gathered resources are saved. Constructed train units and gathered resources are saved. Wall mounted siege currently not implemented and will not be. That's because if you fight a defensive battle, you can build things which are not carried forward into the one. And of course, what we're going to do straight away is get these guys out.
Wash me hands first. Get hammering, lads.
And of course, we're going to. And of course, what you need to do now, guys, the way the campaign maps works is you get these building locations scattered round, which you use to build things. And what I would suggest you do is, one of the first things you need to build is a barn, and one of the second things you need to build is actually a storehouse. The reason for that is the storehouse gives you access to horses and carts,
Looking for a fight, we are.
which can be very useful to boost the efficiency of your peasants. And you can see, unlike the battle map, is that you always start with 30 slots. So of course, so the first thing you're also going to do is train another serf. Yeah. No. We're just going to build one more serf, get that up and running. As I say, this is just going to be a very, very quick overview, guys. And you don't really, the defenses on these low level cities are quite weak, so I think what I'm going to do is pause the video now while this is being built, guys.
Let me wash my hands first.
Get these guys.
Get chopping on those trees.
My lord.
Dear Lord, what do you need?
Hey guys, we've now built a barn, and what you need to do is get a few animals in. That will actually improve your food. Now, the thing you need to remember, guys, is that this only works while you're managing the city. As far as I can tell, these serfs do not gather resources when you close the map. So when you build these cities up or settlements up, what you need to do is just spend time inside here, but you also be aware at the same time the game is still running. So this is one of the real-time elements of the game. But you can see here we've got a reasonable army, and of course once we've got it built, this built up, what we can do is
Ready to hunt
is start replacing these units with more superior troops. Now what you can do is actually upgrade here. Well, you can build a palisade. Now I just want to try something, guys. So what we're going to do is build a palisade, and what you do is the first level doesn't actually build palisades, it builds these towers which aren't particularly that good. You can't put archers or anything up into them, and for defensive purposes they're not particularly very good. Personally, I would like to see a more crude palisade built at this stage rather than towers. Anyway guys, I think we're just going to flip back now to the main map. Now,
Standing ready.
I'm going to do something a little bit crazy here. Oh, we lost a couple of units. We must have lost a couple of units in that battle. And what we can do is let's replace them with got a couple of macemen. Get here. Don't really have a lot of cash. I think what we could probably do is go to Dover. You've got a little bit, so we'll collect the taxes here. Just an example, guys, the taxes build up slowly over time. You do get this error here where it says that whether your people are happy or unhappy.
Trim tight to the midships, my lord.
I think what we will probably do is just get a cheap swordsman to fill in that gap. Yeah, your residents will get unhappy, and if you're actually in these areas building things up and they're unhappy, they will actually start to attack your buildings. And what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to declare war on Lewis, and what I'm going to do is go for an auto resolve this time. There's a good chance we're going to lose because we're an army of 3 against an army of 3. Oh, we won. Paka. That actually means that the only way. Oh, look at this, guys. This is what I was saying, guys. This is an army crossing the water. There it is, and it promptly disappeared into the fog of war. Now, if I'd been at sea then, I could have engaged that fleet and fought a naval battle, but that's how quick it is. Right, guys, here we are. So I've just won the battle. Now, if I click on the army, I have lost my 1 chicken and 2 of my workers. Now, that doesn't sound important, and it's a very, very big but, guys. And bear in mind, I won that battle. And what I need is another settlement so I can declare fight. This is probably too big. Oh, this is Southampton. This is a 1. Okay.
Carrick ready to set sail.
Let's go out here. Bear in mind, I'm playing this on easy. And what I'm going to do is turn the auto resolve off, and we are going to attack Southampton. And what we're going to have to do is push hard and fast on these guys, because what you will see is the fact that
awaiting your orders.
And it looks like there's our monks.
Dost thou seek counsel?
Try and keep these guys together.
Humbly I go.
Now, as you see, I've got no workers here, guys. I've got resources, but I've got an army of 15 with 16 places, which means if I build a barracks here, let's just build a barracks that should be built. Okay, let's keep these guys moving forward. I'm going in the right direction. I get lost on this map occasionally. Okay.
Awaiting your orders. Get to it, boys. Maces, move out. I accept this mission.
And another example here, guys, just to prove to you guys, if I click here, it says you do not have enough resources. We don't have enough houses.
Awaiting your orders.
Let's get back here. And again, if you see here, I can't build. So effectively my economy is crippled.
Lock your arrows, men.
Going troops. I've lost a few troops. Where are they? It's very easy to lose.
Be alert.
Very easy to lose troops on this battlefield, guys.
Bowmen, stand ready.
And what I'm after is
Bowmen, move it.
this area here. We get our mad monks up.
Templars, stand
Templars in.
God's death upon them.
Monks in.
Vows compel me. Look alert, boys.
Icemen
Swing
in.
'em, boys.
Templars in.
Take them down. Our you would be yours.
Archers. Swordsmen in. Of course, we're attacking here. Anyway, that's not the purpose, or the battle is part of the
Dost thou seek
interest. Anyway, we're going down, guys, but I just wanted to show you that problem. As I say, I built this building, it was a waste of time. I've got no workers. Here they are.
Speak to me, my child. I accept this mission.
There we are. But despite not having any workers, we won that battle, but that's only because we were a large army fighting a settlement of one. So we've now captured Southampton. You can see here we got here, but really and truthfully, it's my army gone. There it is.
Your current Carrick standing ready.
But what we would really need to do is recruit a couple of serfs back into this army and get a chicken. Sorry, guys. So that's it. We've now collected Southampton, but if we go into this city, if I just go in and enter, now gold is always a shortage at the moment because they haven't sorted out the economy. But if I kind of go into this settlement, obviously this is the lowest level of settlement going. I mean, it's not vastly different from the other settlement of Maidstone we captured. The big difference here is that
Ready to hunt your grace.
these settlements have no defences.
Honored.
So if you capture one of these settlements, the first thing you're going to have to do is start building up some resources. You can build a few buildings in here, guys. Get the resources up, but that's about all you can do. And I think this has only got 1, 2, 3. You only get 3 building slots here. So the first thing you need to do with one of these is, if we quit back out again, guys, I don't want to hang around showing you the mechanics of building, but I'm going to give you a quick demo of that once we go to Dover. Now, the way you improve these cities is that you click here and you got upgrade, and it says 950, and it will tell us we can't afford it. This is why, really and truthfully, you really want to use battles to strengthen your armies. I don't know the details of that technique yet. I really haven't played enough yet. I'm only recording this the day after the update came out, so I haven't had a chance to play with it. But obviously we've got this army here, we've got a settlement here, so we've expanded very quickly. But obviously I really need to spend time here. I mean, I could collect the taxes from there, and of course what you can do is flip through settlements like this. There you see the Kingdom of Lewis is rebellious. I don't know if that actually happens. We're still short of cash. But what I want to do now, guys, just to round this video off, is we're going to go into Dover. You can see Dover is a tier 3 settlement, but it cannot be upgraded. There's like a glass ceiling between certain types of settlement. And if you've got like London, if I just cancel that for the moment, guys, if you go to London, which at the moment will probably be similar to Paris or something like that, but eventually you can see this is a tier 5, but as far as I can tell at the moment you could not upgrade, say, Lewis to a tier 5 London. There's two kind of threads. Now whether that's going to change in the future, I don't know. Right, hey guys, here we are in Dover. See, Dover's got a reasonable garrison at the moment, and over this side is, if you've got the money, you can build buildings. You click here, you can come around here, and I think what I'll do is I've got a bit of cash, so I want a barn to start with, so I think we'll start with a barn. We'll build that. You can build the buildings, but obviously again you're spending gold, so in theory you can build up a whole settlement here without actually going into it, but be aware that you cannot upgrade your defensive here. You can only upgrade your buildings. The best way to build your cities up is to actually enter them like this, like we've already done with the minor settlements, but I wanted to do the principles of kind of city building with Dover because it's got a bit more interest to it than the minor settlements. And welcome to the city view mode. View has allowed you to build up a city before it's constructed. Walls, trained units and gathered resources are saved. Mounted siege are currently not implemented. So you can build siege weapons when you actually defend your settlements, but you can't actually do it. Right, let's get, first thing you really want to do is get these guys out.
Swing those axes, fellas.
Awaiting your orders. Get to it, boys.
Okay, you should start with 2.
Get hammering, lads.
And what I like to do is get a 3rd serf up and running. Now the big difference between the settlements and the army battle map is that you actually start with 30 slots, so you don't have to build any buildings. There's no tents or buildings or houses to be built up. And you can see here, here's the manor, which I've already clicked on before, but I'm now going to go through it. Now one of the downsides of building up a building on the top menu is finding it, because the slots are generally numbered from the top. So if I start up here, we've got our defences there, we've got 1, 2, 3, there we are. And this is our barn, and what I like to do is train 1 pig, 1 cattle for the moment, just to get the food supply up and running. And of course you can see the city tends to have a profile. Now if you are attacked by siege, they are going to come in, see this open area here. This is where the siege camps would be. So what you would need to do is move your troops up here, but when you're building the city up you just need them out of the way. And the kind of what I tend to do is build this down here, and the first thing I would build is an iron camp and a stone camp if I've got enough resources. Yeah, I've got enough resources. And what you really need to do is get your buildings up and running. Now there are other buildings available at the moment, but they're not fully implemented, so be aware guys that the market, as far as I know, the market, the academy and these buildings around here, and I think the armourer aren't implemented yet. If you click those, they're meant to trigger research and things, but they don't actually get that. But once you've got an iron camp up here, because if what you will need to do, and of course this is where you start working on your defences, click on these ones here that look like tents, and you can see 700 stone. Well, we don't have enough stone to start building up here. I mean, some of them do provide an option. You can build a palisade, but personally I can't see the point of that really. I might go. Now this is an example of what I was talking about earlier when I said the minor settlements. I'd like to see the minor settlements have a kind of poor quality palisade like that, and then that palisade would be upgraded to something like this on, say, a tier 2 or tier 3 city settlement. That's the minor settlements. That's just my opinion guys. But you can see here we're building up now. Now the thing to remember is that if you're building up settlements like this, you only accumulate resources.
Bowmen, stand ready.
Yeah, get out of the way.
Archers are doing it.
We've got an idle guy here.
Toothpicks and timber coming up.
Now we're going to chop wood. Now Obviously, a city like this, we're going to need to build kind of recruitment and other bits here. But of course, what I would do is build the recruitment up here. So, like we've got Dover, we got 2 recruitment buildings here. So this is where I would build my military, and of course I would build archers first. Well, we got them wood for here, and I don't think we've got enough wood for. I mean, barracks 550. We wouldn't have enough of that. 650 for stables. Knights Hospital. Yeah, we could sneak in a for hospitaller knights, which are heavy armored knights. So we can see we can keep building this up, and of course, what we might be able to do now is go with that. I'm just going to let you guys. I must admit, I do really like the animations on here. Actually building them. Some of the animations take a little while to get going. You can see here we're building our defences up here. This is during the initial game, but please remember, the guys, that the game is still running in the background, so it's a possibility you could get attacked during these stages. And you can see our guys here chopping up wood here. Now, I think that covers the basics of building. So I don't want this video to too long. The one tip I will give you guys is that once you've got your economy up and running, one building you do want to build and is a storehouse. The reason I'm building a storehouse, guys, is that actually gives you access to a horse and cart. And one of the uses of a horse and cart is, if you come out here, you'll see there's lots of trees out here. And if you're really going to build your city up and you want lots and lots of resources to defend your city, what you want to do is get a horse and cart out here with your serfs, chopping the wood down out here. Because what you can do is, like, say here, you can park the horse and cart right close to the trees, and then the serfs don't have far to walk, where in the city, once they've consumed the wood here, they start walking further and further. For the moment it's okay. I mean, I wouldn't build the store just at the moment, but once these guys start walking a long way, your productivity of wood drops considerably. And that's when you need to consider, do you need a storehouse here? That's just to show you guys. What you can do is train a horse and cart here. Which I'm just going to build that before I quit out, because I just want to see whether that actually gets added to the army roster. Again, this is something you may have to balance over time. And you can see here, this is not building up very quickly. There we are. It's kicked in a bit more now. Sometimes I think it's almost like they've changed it so it builds per segment. You can see now the animations for building the. There we are. They're quite fascinating, really. But obviously, the more you build up your cities and you turn it into a stone castle, the stronger you'll be, or the more chance you have of defending your city. See again, and of course you click it again. Then that will just keep it going. And what I'm just going to do is come back here. Here's our horse and cart. I think that's enough, guys. What I'm going to do now is quit out, because I want to see if the horse and cart gets added to the garrison roster. This is something I don't know what it is. It could be in there, it could not be. Okay, let's just click here. Yep. So the horse and cart is part of the garrison roster, which is good. Which means that you could probably, again, if you want to short circuit matters, guys. I mean, maybe another way to do this would be to, rather than go to the trouble of building the storehouse, you can actually build the horse and cart here. I mean, that could be another option. Something that's just occurred to me. So again, it comes down to cash. But so your roster here is a mixture of serfs, livestock, troops and other buildings, and of course you've got your artillery here as well for defending. So that's the decisions you've got to make as part of building up your defences. And of course you could have a situation in the future, I mean, can we get rid of these guys? Say if I something that's cheap, we've got a bit of cash. Yeah, replace. So you can actually, you can't delete, but you can actually replace. So if I wanted to replace a chicken with a Bowman, you can do that. Okay, that's something else I've just found out. Anyway, I think this is where I'm going to leave it, guys, because obviously we've made a fair amount of progress. So we've got our army here. The opposition here is coming here. We could probably go out after Reading as well. I mean, England is a pretty good. Just to show you the auto resolve, guys. And if you come here, Salt from the Battle Arm can come, and of course he's going to walk up over the top. And we've won Reading. I say, if you want to learn the game, guys, bear in mind this is on medium. England is quite a good campaign to fight. The AI isn't that aggressive. Okay guys, this is where I'm going to leave it. I think I've covered enough without getting into a full-blown strategy. I mean, if I was going to keep this campaign going, I would probably bring my army back,
ready to
repair it a little bit, and then maybe attack London. But I'd have to fight the siege manually. Maybe I will do that as an example. I don't know, but I think this is where I'm going to leave it, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this video that gives a brief overview of the new campaign mechanics. I hope you found it interesting, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.